going to be using this to make soap. Cucumber. The cucumber was one of the first vegetables or fruits that I experimented with when I was experimenting with making soap when I first started. But it was so long ago I can't really remember what happened, and I didn't film it then, which is why I say it's always a good idea to video your soap making, because it keeps an excellent record for you. So the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to peel it and then chop it into pieces. Now, I got this little gizmo that came with my blender that my son got me for Christmas. A little chopper. So I'm going to use that to, I'm not going to put it in like that. I'll chop this small, stick it in there and let this do the work, see how it turns out. So I'm just going to chop it into pieces first of all. I'm using, well, I suppose it's a medium-sized cucumber. I don't know at this point how much juice I'm going to get out of it, because it's the juice that I'm after. So I think I'll have to let the soap that I'm making be guided, the recipe be guided by how much juice I can actually get out of this. So for scenting this soap, I'm going to make, this is going to be a yogurt and cucumber. This is going to be a yogurt and cucumber soap. So, and when I think of yogurt and cucumber, I always think yogurt, cucumber and mint. So I'm going to scent it with mint. However, I'm not going to make the whole of the fragrance mint, because I'm going to use spearmint and not peppermint. I think peppermint's a little bit too strong. I prefer spearmint. I think spearmint's a little bit milder, but I still don't want it to be 100% spearmint, because mint can be a little bit cooling if you overdo it. So I think I'm probably going to mix some, make it tea tree and mint. Anyway, I'm going to put the top on here, and then this is my blender handle. I just put that in there, plug it in and switch it on, and it should do the work, all the chopping for me. Take that off and get it all down in there. How I'm going to extract the juice, I'm not really quite sure yet, but I'm going to puree it as much as I can. I suppose it might help if I put it on max. I think I'm just doing that a little bit more. Okay, so I've pureed this. It looks quite foamy. So I'm going to put this into a sieve and try and extract as much juice out of it as I can. Now, you might have a method that's better than the one that I'm about to use, but right now, this is all I can think of to do to get the juice out, as much juice out. I haven't decided if I'm going to use the pulp yet. Let's see. So I want all that into the bottom, as much to the bottom of the sieve as possible. If I'm making yoghurt and cucumber dip, I'll grate the cucumber, sprinkle it with a little bit of salt, put a plate on it to get the bitter juices out. So I thought I'd employ a similar method here. So I'm going to put a bowl on top of that and fill the bowl with water to give it some weight. So I've got my bowl there, and now I'm going to just fill that with water. Am I even in shot here? There, that's better all that time. I'm going to fill this with water to make it heavy and see how much juice I can extract. There we go. So I'm just going to leave that like that for, I don't know, half an hour or so, and just let gravity do its thing. Right, I'm back. It's been about 40 minutes. So move that. Oh, that's clean. It's all come off the bottom. Here's my juice, and I need to weigh it, and I'm looking for around 150 grams. So let's see. So, oh, 141. Okay. 142. I think that's going to be enough. Okay, so here's my cucumber juice, of which there is 142 grams, which I didn't know if it was going to be enough, but here's my recipe, and I'm just going to look. Here's my recipe. So I can see here that for this recipe I'm going to need 141.5 grams of sodium hydroxide. So that 142 grams is just enough. However, that's a 1-to-1 liquid to lye solution. I'm a little bit worried about that, so I am actually going to lower that figure probably to maybe just 140, and that's still cutting it fine. And that will be okay, because all that will mean in reality is that the soap will have a slightly higher super fat. I am going to be adding the yogurt, so that's some extra liquid too, but just dissolve the lye, we need to have at least as much liquid as we do sodium hydroxide. So I'll lower that to 140, and I've got 142 grams of the cucumber juice, so that should be okay. Okay, so I'm going to take I'll take a closer look at the recipe in a little bit. For right now, I just want to concentrate on my liquids. So we've got that, and next thing I want to do is to weigh out some yogurt. This, for me, is really, it's kind of just a way to use up some things that otherwise would have ended up being in the bin. But they're fantastic ingredients for making soap, so why waste them? So I'm just going to weigh out some yogurt. So I've got 142 grams of cucumber juice. I've got some really nice Greek yogurt here. I'm hoping to get maybe 100 grams or more. 99. There, so I have 115 grams of yogurt, and if I add that to the 142 grams of cucumber, that makes a total of 257 grams. So that works out at about 25. That's 25% of the oil content. So that's plenty. I don't want a really liquidy batter. I'm just keeping the design very simple. Just a closer look at the recipe, and I'm just keeping it straightforward. So we're just having some castor oil, some cocoa butter, coconut oil, olive oil and shea butter. I'm also going to be putting in a little bit of kaolin clay, which I'm going to mix with my essential oils just to help anchor the scent a little. So I better get started weighing those out. Okay, so I've weighed out my ingredients, and in here I have 450 grams of olive oil and 50 grams of castor oil, and I'm just going to put all my other oils into this to go into the double boiler. So here I've got 300 grams of coconut oil. I'm putting that in. I've got 100 grams of lovely shea butter. That's going in. And 100 grams of cocoa butter that smells divine. So I'm just going to put that into my double boiler to all gently melt down while I get on with some other preparation. Here I've got my sodium hydroxide that I've weighed out, but I'm not going to mix my lye solution yet. When I do, I will be just adding that straight into here. I imagine the colour is going to change. I'm going to mix these after my oils have melted, because it's always easier just to reheat the oils a little bit if the temperature difference is too different. My yoghurt I'm going to add into my oils rather than the lye. Okay, I'm going to weigh out 10 grams of kaolin clay first of all. Or thereabouts. Doesn't have to be spot on. 10-10, that will do. And for my fragrance, I'm using essential oils, tea tree oil and spearmint. As I mentioned earlier, I don't want to make it totally spearmint. Some people don't like that really cooling sensation, so I want to tone that down a bit, but I still want it to smell minty to go with the yogurt and the cucumber. So I'm just going to blend it with some tea tree oil. Just going to have to weigh out my oils into this little glass. I've broken the glass, or the glass got broken, the bigger one that I mix in. So I think I'm going to have to root about to find another small glass but bigger than this one. So let me tear that out. I want 20 grams of tea tree oil, which I hope I'm not going to have to shake out. I am. Top isn't off. So bear with me, 20 grams. Just over. because the top's not off, that's because I haven't been able to get it off. So I do try to get them off straight away, but some I just can't get them off. Okay, tear that out, and I want 10 grams of spearmint oil. Top's not off that one either. Luckily these are thin oils, so they come out quite easily. Here we go. It's 10.03, so just over. I think what I'm going to do is add my kale into my yoghurt and then add the fragrance oils. I've never done all those three together. I hope the oil doesn't make the yoghurt go weird, but I'm going to try that anyway. I'll just put that in first, and then I'll put these straight into my melted oils before adding my lye solution. The oils I have here should not accelerate trace. I'm keeping the design fairly simple. I'm just putting a couple of swirls, very light swirls of green mica in there. So if it thickens up, I don't think it should be a problem anyway. Mixing this slowly to try and get it all blended in and not slop it out and make a mess like I usually do. It smells lovely, and I can smell the mint very strongly, so I think 10 grams is going to easily be enough for that mint to come through in the finished soap. Slowly get this blended, and then I'll sort out my colours. This is taking quite some time. The oil really doesn't want to blend in. That's not a problem. It will all blend in the end, whether I get it blended in here or not. Okay, I'm just going to put that to one side. It isn't all properly blended in. I'll carry on doing that in a little bit, I think, but I'm just going to get my colours sorted. Now, I'm just going for a straightforward green. And a darker green. That's both the same green. I'm just going to add a little bit of black to this. Really not much at all. The blue on this little spatula is from water soluble dye. Can't be that water soluble if it didn't wash off. Touch more, and that really is just a touch, just to get a little bit of difference between the greens. I'm just adding a touch of olive oil to these to mix them in. Quickly give these a mix so that they're ready for when I pour the batter in. So those greens don't look very different at the moment, but when I blend using the blender, the black will dissolve a little bit more. It's black oxide. The oxides don't blend quite so easily as the micas. Right, I'm just going to mix the white up in this little teeny little measuring cup thing. This is what happens. I end up getting white everywhere. It's a bit of a pain to clean off. I'll show you. I just wish I had a steadier hand. But I don't have a steadier hand. We get what we're given. To this I'm going to add just a little bit of water. I find these little aluminium bath bomb moulds coming quite handy for measuring out lots of small amounts of ingredients. So I'm just going to add some water to this. I like using warm water. That seems to dissolve it. Seems to me to dissolve it better, but that could just be mine, all in my head. But I just add warm water, not hot warm. So I've got that mixed up and ready to go when the soap's ready to go. Cleaning the TD off. This is what happens. You put a sponge on it and it just goes like that. White. You just end up with white everywhere. Right. Rightio, all my hard butters and oils have melted into my liquid oils. That's quite hot, so I'm going to just mix up the lye with the cucumber juice. So here's my sodium hydroxide. A bit stuck to the edges. I'll tap that down and get it out. And you'll see this is turning, well, it's a yellow. Ooh, it's foaming up. Not sure why it's foamed up like that. Maybe there's citric acid in there. Why put cucumber juice in a soap? Well, when I look online it says that cucumber juice, because it's full of antioxidants, it can act as anti-inflammatory and be kind to sensitive skin. However, I'm always sceptical about these claims, so do your own research and see what you think. I'm sceptical, I have to say, but it always looks good on the label. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. It's gone really foamy. It's gone really foamy. I'll try and get the camera off, show you the foam, and then I'm just going to leave that for a while to settle down and cool off. Can you see there? There's, looks like beer. There's a foam built up on top, and I'm sure that that will settle down. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm not sure how much I missed. My camera switched off, not sure why. Don't know if it timed out. I've got no idea what went on there. Anyway, so I've just poured into my oils. At this point, I haven't checked it, so I don't know how much I've missed. I've just put this into there and started to blend it. I was just saying, in case that part's missed off, that it looked like my essential oils didn't want to blend with the yoghurt. Greek yoghurt, which is the one that I used, I think has a higher fat content than just standard yoghurt. But I'm going to blend them into my melted oils and everything will be fine. Now I'm going to just add my icky coloured lye. Blend that up. That's going strange. Not sure what these green floaters are. Something to do with the cucumber, obviously, and I'm pretty sure everything will be okay. I just don't know what they are. Okay, I'm just going to split off my colours, and I really do just want a very tiny amount, really. For those. That will mix in okay, because that's just mica. Here I've got some of the black oxide in. That might be a little more difficult. Oh no, I can definitely see a colour difference there. Okay. So now into here with the green floaters, whatever they are, I'm going to put my titanium dioxide. Just give it a bit of a stir because it's probably settled to the bottom. Blend that up. Let's get the mould. I'll just do my usual triple swirl that I like doing. I always do that because I've got so little space. Let's spin. A bit more green here than I was actually intending, but fine. Another little spin. My third pass. Save some for the top. Just bring that down a bit. So a tiny bit of these greens for the top. Give that a twirl with my wooden spoon handle. And I'm digging all the way to the bottom with this. Making a mess as per usual. So I'm just going to top it off now with what's left of the batter. Any which way. Any which way, and I'll tidy up my mould, leave it to just thicken up a little bit and then texture it. Yep, still appear to be filming. Really don't know what happened there, and I'm sorry, these things happen. They don't happen very often. It's just a good job that I noticed before I'd done the whole thing, and then looked at the camera to see that it just wasn't running. Because the camera's here, I can't see it without bending down and looking underneath. Right, so there's some white on there. Actually, just spread that out a little bit. And then let's have just a little bit of some green, shall we? Edges. A bit less of this dark green. Not worried. I'm just gonna take it as it comes. Right. That down, white the edges. Still quite liquidy, but I don't want the top to be too high because otherwise I'll have difficulty cutting it. So I think I'm just going to go in now. And it will look nice and creamy. There we go, that looks nice. I'm going to give it a quick squirt with alcohol. Because I want this soap to look quite opaque, I want to try and stop it from going through the gel phase. So I'm going to put this to saponify in the fridge. So that's where you're going, into the chilly space, my little soap. I'll be back when it's time to cut it. So here's the finished soap. It looks great, it smells phenomenal. I'm just gonna get on with cutting it, and I'm gonna cut it just to some music. So I'll speak to you later.